this was from the last episode.
Yeah.
We had a whole thing about my easy access pants. And before the show, Gilbert's like, change your pants before he gets here. I'm like, I don't think I should.
I just also want to say we've had hundreds of guests on the show. We've never had fruit for anybody. This is the first time we've ever had fruit.
This is a special Korean.
And who you got the fruit?
I got the fruit from H Mart, the proper
Yeah,
place.
man.
Right across the street, man.
Yeah.
Well, this is probably the first time you've ever had a show with an H Mart right across the street.
That's true.
So close.
That's true.
Do you know how much joy having an H Mart close by is?
It's amazing, isn't it?
Because in LA, like even where we live, it's at least, I mean, there's K-Town, there's one in Glendale. But in the Valley, there's what?
Nothing.
99 Ranch?
99
Yeah.
Ranch. More Chinese.
Yeah.
Yeah. 99 Ranch is cool, but it's not the same as H Mart.
It's not the same.
Yeah.
John, can I just say one thing too? Don't ever wear shorts. Your legs, man, I don't like them at all, dog. I mean, what are lesions? What's on your legs, man?
That's a DP, man. He's on the ground.
Oh, you're on your knee? Oh, my bad, dude.
That's what you don't like about them? Not like so you like the girthiness and the overall,
I think the thickness is very intimidating.
Isn't that the Korean?
Yeah.
That's a Korean thing, though, right? Like the
Yeah, it's a
calves,
strong
big
leg.
calves.
My bad. I attacked
They
you.
all have great calves.
You're
Wait,
right.
why is that? Why do you like chicken legs isn't a thing?
Do you want to wear this or no?
Oh, yeah, sure.
You don't
Yeah.
have to.
You don't have to if you don't want to.
Chicken legs isn't as rampant amongst Asian men, I find, just from an observation.
Ken Jeong has chicken legs. Okay, it's so chickeny. It's like
But he's like uniformly chickeny though. Like he's just thin and slender.
that's my.
everywhere.
I know that's one thing. That's a thing. It's like he's very North Korean. He's North Korean now. You know what I mean? Like famished. You know what I mean? And he's got money. I don't know what the deal is. Yeah. Like eat a donut, Ken. You know what I mean? I also out of any actor, like I guarantee, like I put $1 million, I would defeat him in any ring.
Oh, you and Ken got a fight. You and Ken.
In a fight?
Yeah.
Oh, I would win. I think.
I'd like to see that.
I know you would.
Daniel's
Yeah.
He's the referee.
But who are you rooting for? Who are you rooting for?
I root for a good match. That's what
See, he's
root
fucking
for-
political,
See,
this
so
guy.
you would have to like sprinkle in some puzzles and some IQ games in there, so
Why?
he can at
It's
least
fighting.
catch up.
What do you?
Because you don't have much IQ.
What do you mean?
You guys have to take the MCAT.
I mean, like there has
Yeah,
to be.
in SCTs, anything but like that has to do with like
Doctoring.
doctoring and books and shit. He's gonna win,
Of course.
But in a physical, just man-to-man MMA kind of thing,
Yeah.
I will destroy him.
Oh, like MMA.
Anything like that, fighting, boxing.
Okay, I thought
That's
I
all
was
I'm
thinking
saying.
like baseball.
Anyway, go back.
or-
Are you there? All right, let's start.
we rolling?
Yeah. Anyway, let's go. Countdown.
But I would say you have to make it like a physical 100. Where
Yeah.
they're
I was
like,
gonna say that. Those guys are.
but we can talk about that show. I mean,
Let's
on the
talk
air.
about
now.
okay, what is it? What is that? The Korean show?
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
All the big calves are on that show.
I've never seen this show. People have tried to explain it to me, but from what I hear, though, it's not something that I would like to watch.
Why?
Because it's like, Americans, we had American Ninja, whatever the Gladiator shows, we all that. Is it a competition show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's is this with Koreans?
First of all, one of the things that's amazing to me about this show
Yeah.
is that South Korea is the size of Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So you don't think like there are all these jacked bodybuilders, especially
It's shocking.
Yeah, and especially when I was going back and forth to Korea, like bodybuilding wasn't a thing, fitness wasn't a thing. People were just looking to survive.
Oh,
And
right.
So now that
When in the 1930s? When? What are you talking about? Survive? What are you talking about?
What year are you going
Is this
back?
pre-Korean War? What the fuck are you talking about? Survive?
No, like there's like pre-Olympics Korea, and then there's post-Olympics Korea. 88 is a big like
then
demarcator.
I also learned this thing recently that South Korea is an outlier and with how much South Koreans have grown in height compared to other races. Like
True.
even, I think it's like, there's like a 9-inch like,
His penis thing?
no,
I like that.
I like that
If it's a
stereotype.
9-inch
you
position, though.
missed this one, but they're generally like 4 to 5 inches taller than they were like only a couple decades ago, which is like not seen in any other population.
Listen, I don't want to talk about how great Koreans are right now because I have feelings about it and I don't want people to hate me. Okay, so we're going down the road. We're you know what I mean because we can tout about Koreans all we want, and we're very good. We're very good in many ways in art. Okay. Listen, we're good at art. We're good at athletics. We're good at making movies.
Why are you talking like it's a secret?
No, back it because I feel shame about it too, right? So it's like, but everyone's good. You know what I mean? So just let's just say everyone's good. but we are growing.
Everyone's good. But Physical 100 happens to be a show from South Korea. It just happens to be.
I know. It just
Athletic
happens to be.
agents.
Yeah. All right, so let's introduce and let's start. Do the countdown, and then we're going to talk about the Physical 100.
Three, two, and a one.
Welcome to another episode of TigerBelly.
Why did you eat that?
That was perfect.
And I'm your host, Bobby Lee, and you get it. You feel it. You feel it, the energy, you know what I mean? You feel the sexuality, you feel the...
Cocky mother.
I know, you feel the dynamic, you know what I mean? Dick power I have, but... I have it, I was born in the way I was born, and I survived it. I survived all the trauma and my dad and all that stuff, but I came up on top, man. And I'm going to win this. I'm going to win. I'm going to get you, Ken. And in the ring, I'm the one, okay? And remember that. In movies and TV, you're famous. You're doing better. It's fine. But in a fucking physical one-to-one, man, and I'm not going to forget what you did in San Francisco, and you assaulted me. He did assault me in San Francisco at Cobb's.
But was it warranted?
Yes, it was.
Warranted.
All right.
Every assault that I've ever had is warranted. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm not saying, but it happened.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, we're not here to talk about that guy. Right? I love him. God bless you. Garani Cheng, I love you. Jimmy O Yang, I love. Yeah, go ahead.
Love you, boys. All. Just saying for the record. Every single one of you.
I know. But so. Yeah, my opinion. First of all, my opinions. Everyone listening, right? It has nothing to do with the guest. We all have our different opinions. I'm just who I am. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, the guest that we have today is somebody I've wanted on for so long. Listen, I'm a huge fan of that show, Lost.
Yeah.
When it first came out, I thought that pilot was the craziest pilot I've ever seen with the fucking plane and you know what I mean. And then people running through the forest. Remember that? Oh, yeah. You know what I mean? What's that guy's name? The white dude? Jack, running through the forest, right? We've had Dominic on our podcast.
Yeah.
And the reason why I love Lost is because I saw a couple of characters in there where I was like, holy fuck, there's Koreans in this. And I also want to say that, your acting was so good. I literally thought you were Korean.
We didn't know each other back then, did we?
Yeah, no, I didn't. So, I didn't know you, so I'm like, oh, they went to Seoul and they got this guy. Right? But then when you did an interview and you spoke the way you spoke, it blew my mind. I was like, oh my God, he's like fucking, you know what I mean? This guy fucking is an American man. He could speak, you know what I mean? He's so good. I don't know what the other lady's name is, but she's great too. You still talk to her?
We haven't spoken in a little while, actually.
Yeah. What's her name again?
Yunjin Kim.
Yeah, she's great. But anyway, that show was great, and then I got to meet you, and you're the nicest guy in the world. Anyway, how about a round of applause for Daniel Dae Kim?
Thanks. I'm excited to actually get an intro because the last few podcasts I watched of yours, you guys just kind of roll right into it, and just catch it mid conversation.
Oh, that's true. But the reason why you're special, and we have fruit for you.
Cut fruit for
I
you.
know
Cut fruit.
this is an honor.
You have to understand, dude. I think that. I was in LA in the 90s, and I didn't see people that looked like me doing it. And then, you know what I mean? It started opening it up. And you were one of those guys where I saw was when it was opening up, right?
You think he looks like you?
You looked on TV and said, that guy looks like me. I can make it? What was the thought process?
See what I'm saying, though? This is the attack.
There's no attack.
And this is the way you guys do it, right? This is how you hurt me.
There's fruit.
No, I never fucking said me and Daniel Dae Kim are going out for the fucking same shit, man. All right? Obviously, I'm the sidekick.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm the neighbor. You know what I mean? Obviously, I'm the guy that gets the stuff. You know what I mean? On the show, whatever. You know what I mean? But of course, he's the lead, right? But you don't have to do that right now.
Okay, sorry.
All right, my bad. Let's go rewind.
My bad.
My bad.
Sorry.
I
just like watching this. This is fun.
What I'm saying is I'm going to calm down and be real. What I'm saying to you is that when they opened it out, you're like one of those guys that I was like so proud, you know what I mean? And I knew you were Korean because not only were you a good actor, but you're a good looking guy. Also, you're super nice. And I don't know, it just made me feel. And then when I met you, I was just like, oh, this guy's really cool too. Remember you invited me to your house? Mm-hmm. Like, I've never had a Korean dude invite me to their house.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know why. I guess he didn't know me that well. You know what I mean?
He's like, I made a
was like,
mistake.
this is the dumbest idea you've ever.
And yet here I am.
Yeah, you're here. But I went to your house for, here's what's crazy too. Like, I don't know what the Super Bowl is.
Which is wild.
And I've been invited to a million Super Bowl things. I go, fuck you. I'm not doing that. But when you invited me, I had to go. The respect, you know what I mean? With your family and this and that. Anyway, you've been so nice. I think you're a great actor. He's also was on a show called Hawaii Five-0. And he also produces and created The Good Doctor, right?
I didn't create The Good Doctor, but I was one of the
That's
people
why I
who brought it over from Korea. So it was probably the first time that a Korean show actually made it big in America as an adaptation.
Oh, so it was an IP you bought then? Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah, it was a K-drama that aired in 2013 in Korea. And
What was it called?
The Good Doctor.
Riveting question.
So we were super original in our titling.
Yeah. And then when you brought it to what network was it? ABC?
Well, the interesting part about this is that when I first developed it, we shopped it around with Adele Lim as the writer, Adele Lim from Crazy Rich Asians. And we shopped it around to every network, and every network passed. Oh my God. And then I bought back the rights for a second year. And you know about producing a little bit, so you know that that's generally not done. Once a show makes it around and does its rounds around town, it dies. Mm-hmm. But I really felt like this could be a good show. So I bought back the rights. We did it again. And this time with David Shore as a showrunner. And then there was a bidding war for it.
Wow.
So it's really just a testament to perseverance and believing in stuff.
So what I ask, because I don't know much about it. I didn't know you could do that. So me and my friend Peter pitched a show to originally ABC, and then they had it for a year, and then NBC wanted it. They just said no, right? And then I called my agent. I go, well, we could just do it again, right? And they go, no. So what do I do? Do I buy it back from NBC?
Is it an original idea?
Yes.
Tell them what the idea is, yeah.
What do you mean?
What the show is.
It's a sitcom about a Korean spa, and a Korean family is running a Korean spa in Koreatown. It's a 3-camera sitcom, and it's just...
And it's solely your idea?
Yeah, me and Peter Kim's idea, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Peter. Well, if it's your idea, there's nothing technically or legally stopping you from, repitching it next season. The problem is, if the same executives are there, they're not going to want to hear it a second time. So that's the issue.
But could they forget that they heard it the first time?
Well, the fact is, year to year, especially in what's been going on recently, the executives are all changing.
Yeah.
So even, the same show that you tried to pitch 2 years ago,
Yeah.
you could go back to the same network to all different people, and you might have a different outcome. That's not a guarantee, but it's possible.
Yeah. It's interesting you say that it's changing, because I remember I had to do another general meeting at Netflix. Because I've always had a bad vibe over there, you know what I mean? And so I was like, they hate me, this and that. And then when I went in, it was a love fest, because it's just a whole new group of people that
Right.
are there. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. No,
They
and-
should change it all the time.
For sure, and
Yeah.
you never know, and you never know where your allies are going, right? Because they move around too. So, that's why it's important to really build relationships in this industry.
Not to name names, but do you feel some places don't like you?
Oh, sure.
Really?
You do?
Yeah,
See,
absolutely.
I feel that too,
Yeah.
and they think I'm crazy.
Yeah, no, you can't be in the
I'm not
business.
crazy.
You can't be in the business as long as we have,
Yeah.
and not make an enemy or two. It's impossible.
There we go.
It's impossible.
I have enemies.
But he thinks everyone.
No, I
hates
don't.
him.
No, I don't. I could list I can list 20 names of people I can guarantee you love me, just because of their history. Calling me in when they call me in for an audition, I know, you know what, there's love there. They're considering me. They want to see, my version of this thing. But when it's a completely we don't want to see you, that's not love.
Yeah.
Is that love?
You're absolutely right.
No,
No, you
thank
really
you.
are. You really are.
Yeah, thank
and
you.
you have to keep track of the people who are not your fans. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I do too.
But you have to keep better track of the people who are your fans and who are your friends, because those are the ones that you want to stay in touch with and you want to foster relationships with.
Yeah. It's because all my people think that I'm crazy, and I just don't think. Yes, I have self-esteem issues. Yes, I'm paranoid. Yes, all these things are true. Okay?
I love your honesty. Your self-awareness it's one of the best things about this podcast, by the way. It is. Both of you.
What are you talking about?
When you were going through your breakup and all this, you guys were sharing all of this on your podcast. I was astounded by that. Like just that you would choose to share this, and it felt like I was eavesdropping, in your bedroom. Let's say living room.
I don't know if it's the healthiest thing, but it's like, yeah.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp.
Hello, everybody. My name is Bobby, and this is Khalyla. Getting to know yourself can be a lifelong process, especially because we're always growing and changing. Therapy is all about deepening your self-awareness and understanding, because sometimes we don't know what we want or why we react the way we do until we talk through things. And we love BetterHelp so much because it's the best online therapy in the market. And
BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist who can take you on that journey of self-discovery from wherever you are. And if you really are thinking of starting therapy, I really do think BetterHelp is a great start.
It is, man. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge.
Discover your potential with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/belly today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp.com/belly. One more time, that's BetterHelp, HELP.com/belly.
It's like, yeah. No, I don't think that anyone's really listening. So, I know they are, but it's like, I just feel so comfortable here. And it's a place for me to really kind of explore things within myself.
That is the dangerous part about podcasting, is that you forget that there's more than 5 people listening to you, because it really just is in your own home and the comfort of the same chair you've sat in for 8 years. So you just forget.
You forget, yeah.
Right. You guys know each other so well, and you're doing it week after week after week.
Yeah.
So it's, I'm only on here for like an hour, but
you
guys.
Yeah. But I'm okay with it though. Because it's like I can, I've started some wars on this, accidentally. And also it's taught me not to say certain things. So I'm learning as well. So what I did 3 years ago, I wouldn't do now, right? So I kind of edit out in my mind. And then after shows, how many times do I have to go, you have to edit that. Yeah. But anyway, what I'm saying is that I am paranoid, and there are certain things but I do know, when somebody likes me, I feel like, And it's like, and I also, what you just said, it comforts me, because it's not a personal thing. That's just the way all businesses go, right?
We happen to be the product in our business. And, just like when we go shopping on Amazon, there are certain things that we're going to say, oh, I like that one, I don't like that one. And, and it's a kind of cynical way of looking at it, but in show business, we are the product.
Yeah. Are there like, I don't want to say, you don't have to say anything, but I just want to ask a question. Are there people that, even though they're not aware of it, that you're in competition with?
Even though they're not aware of it?
Well, like somebody that like you kind of go, I'm up for this role, and I know it's so-and-so.
Oh, somebody that you've been pitted against your whole career, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, there have been. Because, especially when we were starting out, there were so few roles. Like, whenever there was a Chinatown episode, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You and I could have been up for the same role.
I know.
So we could have actually auditioned against one another.
And when I would see you, I'd leave. No way I'm going to fucking get this.
No, if it was a comedy, trust me, I'd leave.
Yeah.
But, it's, so we'd see the same faces at every audition. You know who they are.
Yeah,
it's the same ones you came up with in comedy,
Yeah, but what's funny? I don't feel a lot of that anymore, though, because I feel like I have my own lane. Because before they gave us one lane.
Yeah.
And they put all of us in one street. Or whatever. I don't even know how the analogy works. What does lane mean?
No. We had guardrails. We could only do certain things.
Right.
And we were told to do that one thing all the time.
Right. So I left that and I went to a little lane, you know what I mean? With little guardrails, but still mine, you know what I mean? And I'm just kind of doing that one. I'm on that path, you know what I mean? But it feels, because if I changed my career so that I don't rely on them. Like what you did with Good Doctor is like, this is my show. I'm pitching it. I'm the boss, right? You make the decisions, right? And before, like probably in the 90s, I don't know when you moved to LA, you had to read their thing, the one option that they had.
Well, I will say this. I'm not the decision maker on Good Doctor. We have a showrunner, we have other producers, we have the studio, we have the network. But I will say, being an actor, you're always subject to the roles that are out there. And like, does the casting director like you? Will your agent submit you? You're waiting at the bottom of like a stream, a trickle down. Mm-hmm. And then the audition comes to you, say, I can go for this. But as a producer, you get to create jobs. You get to create universes. And it's what you're doing with podcasting, which is why like your reputation has skyrocketed because of your work, but also because of your podcasting.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah.
But you made that. You guys made this out of nothing.
Yeah.
And that's the power of creation.
That's it. And that's the lane that I took, you know?
Daniel, I wanted to ask you something maybe that's a little sensitive for Bobby, but
It's not.
Why do you get so nervous?
But it's not. Don't.
he seems to think he's been intentionally left out of the Stop Asian Hate movement.
I've heard this.
He wants to do a PSA.
And I kind of just want to see, I want to hear your thoughts on if you think he was left out intentionally and if you think he's not a good face for the campaign.
No, what I'm saying, what she's
Well, if
trying.
he would just shave and lose a few pounds.
That's it.
Yes, Bobby, it's been a whole conspiracy against you.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I was saying earlier was, in the past is that I just don't feel like people would believe me. Like, even if I was saying, like, I remember one time, Will.i.am goes, come over, because I'm doing this, I don't know what the fucking cause was. And I had to lift up cards, like, how Bob Dylan did in that thing, right? And I saw that final thing, and I was the only one they cut out. And I remember doing the cards, and Will.i.am would just be like, it just doesn't feel like you care.
Wait, do you even remember what the campaign was?
I don't even remember.
That's why.
Did you
It had to
care?
do with minorities or something.
Did you care? Did you care?
At the time, I was like trying to cry,
Well, that's
and I was. It's
not an acting gig,
and they're
man.
like, "What are you doing?" I'm feeling it. You know what I mean?
That was your
Racism.
intention, to cry?
Well, it was a thing. He was like, all these people are doing. I think Morgan Freeman's doing. All these people, and they go, "It's a real personal thing. I know you're a comedian, but it's real. So give me the cards, man. See, you want to see real?" And after I was done, they were like, "Yeah, okay, thank you," and they just cut me out.
Was the card, did it have writing on it?
Yeah,
And like,
it's like
was it-
stop
Yours had a-
racism now.
How did it grammatically work if they cut you out in the middle of a sentence?
They gave him a
use the
blank
verb?
card. He had a blank card.
Was yours like the period or something?
No, it was one of those. Well, I think what it was is like, they probably saw 30 people, and they cut this thing together into one thing, right? And I didn't even get a card or a period or nothing. I was not in it. And in my head, I'm like, oh, I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not, that's not my thing.
Different time, though, for you. Because now, you're crying a lot.
I know, but what I'm saying is that if there's a cause for Asians, they're not going to call me, is what I'm saying.
But there is no bat phone. There's no like signal that goes out to say calling all Asians who care about it.
There isn't?
No, there's no.
Yeah. So let me ask you something, right? Did you do Stop Asian Hate stuff?
Yeah, I did. A lot
Okay,
of it.
I know you did, right? So if there was no bat phone, how'd you get in on them?
Because I just started talking about it. And that's the thing. You don't need permission, Bobby. Like, if you start talking about this and it becomes important to you, like-minded people are going to find you. And then they're going to be like, I heard Bobby talking about this on his podcast. Let's have him be a part of this because I know he feels this. So,
I talked about it.
it's organic. But,
I know.
But,
But not in a good way, I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my point of view was different. There's a part of me that thinks that it's just human nature, that, you know what I mean, violence is human nature and this and that. But there's also a part of me that thinks that human beings can evolve and change, and it doesn't need to be a part of our...
That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
That's the hope. That's what people like Martin Luther King were talking about their entire lives, like evolving to a place where we don't let our baser nature win. That's what we have to appeal to.
Yeah.
That's who we need to talk to, because you have to believe that there's a segment of the population who wants the same thing. And if we can convince more of them to move us forward, then we'll be making progress, because we can't expect that everyone is going to agree with us. Look at climate change and look at all the other issues facing our country that are existential, our world that are existential.
Yeah.
We can't make movement on it.
Yeah.
So just goes to show you how powerful the forces on both sides are.
Yeah, but it's really companies and CEOs and stuff. I mean that I mean when we have lobbyists like that and we have them running the fucking show, they're not gonna deregulate. They're not gonna. They want to make their fucking money, man, right? And so then they go to a certain segment of people and they lie to them, and this is where we are.
Yeah.
You know.
But when money's a real powerful motivator. Like if they say like I'll pay you, everything you need to live for the rest of your life if you just say something that is not true.
Right. Man, we talk about like yellow dicks on this show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And buttholes, you know what I mean? But this is like,
This is next level.
This is next level getting real, That's why I like Star Trek. I know people make fun of me because why do you like Star Trek Next Generation so much? And because that's the kind of society that I want to live in.
That's right.
Right? I want people that no money, you know what I mean? A bunch of people with different kinds of people getting together, getting on a spaceship, and and exploring and growing and learning from each other, you know what I mean? That's the kind of society I want to live in, you know what I mean? Like I wouldn't want to be a Ferengi or nothing like that, but my point is that
Okay.
you know what I mean? But I'm just, you know what I mean? But in terms of like that's why I like the show, the principles and the philosophies behind it is what I want as a society, but when you look out into the world, you kind of go, we're just straying away from that, you know what I mean? And you feel powerless.
Star Trek assumes that everyone on Earth is living in harmony.
Right.
It does. Earth is one entity. And that's why I've always said, now this is a hot take, but I've always said the people of Earth will never be united until we confirm alien life.
Yes, that's his exact.
That's exactly how... We change in Star Trek in that world. When did they change? When the first contact, Vulcans.
This is a general Korean theory that you guys all share.
I don't know. I've never heard this theory espoused by anyone other than me.
No, he does it.
Wow.
I've said it. Yeah, you're
Right here,
that
right here.
theory I agree with.
It's like the common
But I
enemy.
feel like if an alien race that's hostile, then it would change us.
That's absolutely right.
Exactly. I think that's what it'll change.
Because then we'll focus on what unites us.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
not what divides us, which is what we're focused on right
Yeah,
now.
we'll realize that no, we're the same species.
But
Yeah, go ahead.
soft counter argument is that there is a section of society that are so deep in conspiracies that even if you were to slap the truth in front of their face, they would somehow justify a different reasoning.
Yes.
So it's like even that movie, The Don't Look Up, there's like a good example of a comet
right.
about to land on the Earth and people still having, two different, I think that even if you were to have some like aggressive alien in front of some people, they'd be like, yeah, that's CGI, I think. Someone
Right.
is still going to believe it's some type of conspiracy against.
I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
And you're never going to convince everybody. Like, look at the coming of Jesus, right? Those who are Christians believe that Jesus is coming back. And there will
and
be...
he is.
And so... But there will be non-believers.
Right?
So even the coming of Jesus will be a controversial topic, and there'll be people who believe that he's not the guy. He's not the
Wow.
savior.
Yeah.
So it's built into our society. It's built into our nature, I think. And so I don't think we can hope to convince everybody, but just the majority of people.
Yeah. Wow.
Your
Yeah.
take on the spy balloons? Is that like China or is it aliens?
Well, I don't know much about the spy balloons. They shot one down in Canada and Alaska, right?
Yeah.
Right? Do we know what they look like?
Well, we know that the one that was drifting over South Carolina and all over the U.S. was a spy balloon, but we don't know what these other things were.
Yeah.
Because they weren't shaped like the first one. So,
Wow.
And the government was strangely silent for a long time
Yeah.
about
Yeah, but
what
why
they
would
were.
aliens send down shit that they can use? Just
Yeah, I don't
BB
think
gun
so.
down. You know what I mean? It's like they're
Not
gonna
high tech.
It's not high tech enough for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't think it's aliens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do you or anybody?
I don't know. I just hope you get to do the stop human hate against the PSA against aliens, or it's just Daniel and everyone else,
All right,
or stop aliens.
Yeah, but I learned. Let me say this: I learned a valuable lesson today.
Yeah.
And I honestly, and you're gonna not believe me, but I'm saying right now, I think I'm gonna do something. I don't know what it is yet, but I want it because now I feel like I do have a voice and I do have my opinion about it. You know what I mean? And I do love my people that look like me.
Are you kidding, Bobby? You have a huge voice. I mean,
I know.
Look at the people who you've had on your podcast. Look at the number of listeners and watchers
Yeah,
you
I know.
have.
I do.
I'm not just pumping you up. It's true.
It is true. Yeah, you're right. And
We all have fear. I mean, that's a very
First of all, that was
real
amazing.
All
thing.
right.
That's a very real thing.
Yeah.
Every one of us who's spoken out about this issue has gotten the worst threats online.
Yeah.
All of us. And it sucks to read that stuff and go onto your feed and hear hate coming from the left and the right, by the way.
Right.
It's both. Because you're standing up for something that, 23 million of us experience, but we're only 10% of the population. So 90% of the population goes, I could give a fuck about that. Or I don't know about that. So you've got to expect it. But, when I think about that, I think about people like Martin Luther King Jr. Like, what must he have experienced when he was going through what was happening in America in the 50s and 60s?
Oh my God, I can imagine.
And he ultimately gave his life for the cause.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not recommending that everyone go out there.
I'm not doing that, but anyway,
give your life. But
I want to live. But my point,
but this thing about evolution, I think, is a really important one, because you think about all the people who have really made positive change in our cultures and our societies. Gandhi, King, Malcolm X, Jesus Christ. What's the thing that they all have in common?
they all died.
Sacrifice.
They sacrificed.
They all gave their lives
They
in
gave their
support
lives
of this
for it.
cause.
Yeah.
So that says, take that how you will. You can look at that as a positive and a negative, but it's a fact.
It is a fact. Yeah. Wow. Let's switch gears.
Wait, I'm curious. When
Yeah.
when was the first time you guys met? Do you remember that interaction? Was it an event? Just in passing? Do you have an idea?
Now, I don't remember the first time. I just remember a general sense of going, oh, I like that guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like him. I've had that with Grace too, Park. I have had that with a lot of them. Sandra Oh had, There's only one guy that, and I've mentioned before that I had a problem with that was a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Who's happens to be Korean, you know what I mean? But other than that, but he's always been like a winner for me, you know what I mean?
There's two.
Who's the other one?
Yeah.
What? Who? Yeah, but he's not really Korean. He's adopted.
Khalyla knows all. Khalyla knows everything.
Yeah. He's basically white.
Yeah.
He is?
Is he a comic?
Yeah, one of them's a comic, and then the other one is an actor.
There's three.
What's the third one? Oh, yeah, but he's not Korean.
Oh, yeah.
He's Latino.
Yeah, if it's for me, I'm Korean, right? And it's like when I see other Korean stars, you know what I mean? I just want to have that connection.
Camaraderie, yeah.
I connect with everyone, you know what I mean? But my point is that it's just a special thing when I see dudes that are my, ethnicity. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I think they
Brothers, yeah.
We relate to each other because you probably grew up the way I did. All these mini little microaggressions, the racism that's built up. And, when I went to rehab last year and, they said, man, you have a lot of rage toward white people. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I go, yeah, I do. But you have to understand, I grew up I was born in the early 70s and I witnessed these little mini events. And now I have like this chip on my shoulder. You know what I mean? So it's like, in general, I haven't had any conversations with whites, but I feel like if I did, right, I would go off. You know what I mean? Because it's like I'm pent up. You know what I mean?
We are. I mean, him and I got into this thing with, remember in Seattle when we were at a movie theater?
Oh, gosh.
We were watching a really scary movie called
Hereditary.
Hereditary with Toni
I remember
Collette.
that movie.
Yeah.
How scary.
Right. And basically, during the jump scares, Bobby and I would
Scream.
jump and scream. And we were told, basically to shut the fuck up. That if we knew that we were the type of people who would scream in a horror film, that we should just watch it at home.
And her and I lost our minds. So the credits are going down. They did this during the movie. So once they said that, we couldn't watch the movie. Her and I were just sitting back like
Looking
this.
at the
back of their heads, waiting for the credits to go down because we're going to go off.
Right, and you're just heating up inside, right?
And this is 45 minutes. We had to sit there.
Yeah.
45 minutes. And then they, when the credits go, people get up and leave. They didn't, and we didn't.
Yeah.
Then the lights come on in the theater.
And then they turn around to cuss us out even more.
And we just, oh my God, good job.
Good
You know what I mean? We ripped into them, man.
What'd you say? I want to hear more.
you fucking talk to me like that. You fucking, you know what I mean? I don't know what the fuck we're, you know, like,
And then
I mean,
and
I didn't go. Who do you know who I am?
Check it. Yeah.
Which I want to do. But
Check my IMDb.
Yeah.
Check my
Google
IMDb.
my name, bitch.
he
You know what I
did
mean?
one suspicious thing
What'd I do?
because the movie theater was directly across from the club he was playing that night. So he wanted to kind of make sure that
You're right.
the fight took place where they could possibly
walk
see,
by the comedy
walk
club
by
to see my headshots and my name. You know what I mean on the
That's
billboard.
kind of low key flex.
Yeah, I wanted to do that, right? So I'm kind of directing them toward the club. You know what I mean? Like, no, go this way, bitch. You know what I mean? But yeah. When it comes out, it comes out. But I've had like these mini, and then being when I moved to LA in the '90s. And auditioning, and just you know, I had an agent from ICM look at me and go, white guy, and he goes, "You're never gonna make it. There's no work out there. I can't sign you. You're a nice kid. You know, you're a funny guy, but it's not gonna work." And I remember just feeling so sad.
That's a ship. That's the pride of America.
I was gonna say, is this like the outro? Are we done?
It's the Oscars. Wrap it up, guys. Wrap it up.
No, but so I do have this, you know, this rage, and it's like, but it's got.
It's the pride of America.
That is,
Yeah.
Did you feel that though, microaggressions growing up?
100%. And
You did?
I think that's one of the reasons why, you know, anytime I see someone, especially of our generation in this business, but let's forget that, any generation who's Asian American, I go out of my way to kind of say hello, kind of make sure that we all know that we're a part of a community because, you know, I don't want to make an exaggerated analogy here, but people who have gone through war together are friends for life.
Yeah.
And I feel that way about people like you and people like Ken and people like Will Yun Lee, you know, people like Ron Yuan, Joel De La Fuente, who all went through the same thing. We all saw the same auditions. We were all told the same things. I was in an agent's office, an agent that I was with for several years. I'd just done a TV series that was canceled. And then the following pilot season, I got 0 auditions. So I went into the office and I said, "What's happening?" And the agent said to me, "Daniel, you just have to, you know, reconcile yourself to the fact that you're never going to be a star. You're just going to be a utility player. You should be lucky that you're working. And that's all you can consider." And then he pointed to a poster of this movie that was really popular at the time. Mm-hmm. And the movie was a B movie at best. And it was led by a very chiseled white young male lead. And he was like,
Yeah.
"This guy is a star. This guy is going places. You're just lucky to work."
And then what was the feeling?
Did the Han come out? Did you have some inner Han?
But see, this is the thing about Han. It's always there, but we.
You guys like the Hulk. You guys are the Hulk.
you're
But
the
this is
Hulk,
the
yeah.
thing. But
It's always there.
we have to cover it with a fucking smile.
Yeah.
No,
This is the part. Like we have to be like, yes, I understand. Because I don't know where that comes in our upbringing. That we're not the ones to say like, "Fuck you. I'm going to tell you you're wrong."
Yeah.
I feel that inside, but I think my response outwardly was like, "Thank you for your time."
Yeah, but when you're saying that though, we're different than other people. At least for me, I can speak for myself, right? I'm like, okay, thank you, right? But inside, it's my fucking goal now to prove you wrong.
Well, this is the key, right? Like, and this is why I don't like to talk about race politics too much because, yes, these are the obstacles that we have, but they are not an excuse, and they are not
Yes.
the reason for failure. They have to be fuel for our success, and so we can look back and be on a podcast like Bobby Lee's and laugh about these stories.
I'm not laughing. Yeah.
But that's why they're important to remember. Not because they're the things. The point of those stories is not to say, "Look at all these fucking people who like tried to keep us down."
Yeah.
The point is, these are the challenges that made me appreciate where I am today.
Yeah. I had a fucking audition for a ninja.
Recently?
It was for a commercial, no line. And I remember Lawrence Har, who's a Korean agent that I had. Lawrence,
remember Lawrence.
Yeah, I love Lawrence.
Aqua.
Lawrence goes, "Hey, you got to go get a ninja outfit."
You gotta go get
And I go, I know, but the thing is that can't they envision me in a ninja outfit? I'm not gonna go to, I don't know where to go to the ninja. I don't know where to go, right?
Party City.
I didn't. Oh, now I thank you. Next time I have, but so I showed up and everyone was wearing one, and I was wearing what I wear.
It was our one chance to work all year. You're gonna go, to the mat to do it, right?
Yeah, no, I didn't wear one. A ninja.
And did you get the job?
No, I remember them going, "Why didn't you wear the thing?" And I went, "All right," and I left. And I remember going, "I refuse." That was my line. I go, I can't.
Yeah.
There's another one where we just want you to scream.
This is the Godzilla one?
Yeah.
The King Kong.
King Kong, right? I go, scream? There's no line? No, just run in a circle and scream. So I was in a room going, ah! You know what I mean? In a circle, you know what I mean? It's like the worst situations, you know what I mean? And that was my audition for the year.
Yeah. No, I get it. Totally get it.
Yeah,
I went to an audition once for a commercial where it called for a bunch of aliens, like people from another planet. Not people beings, entities from another planet.
Yeah.
And everyone in the audition waiting room was Asian. Not an exaggeration.
I love it.
Everyone.
Wow.
Even though in the commercial, everyone was covered with makeup so that you could not tell the race.
Wow.
Everyone was fucking Asian. I'll never forget that audition.
Did you go in?
I don't remember. I don't remember whether I went into that audition or not.
Because I can't see
wish I
you.
could have.
I can't see you going in and going beep 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 beep.
No, see, that's the thing. Like,
Yeah.
we've all had those lines that we've had to draw and say, like, I am not doing this.
All right, yeah.
You know, and it's good for all of us to know because as we get older now, it's not so conflicting. Like when you're younger and you're trying to make it, you're like, well, what if this is my big break? You know, like,
Right.
what if I say no and my agent yells at me for not going to an audition?
Yeah.
You know, like all these things swirl in your head.
Yeah, now it's so I say no to 95% of it.
Yeah.
I really do. No, and it's just like it feels like so good because and I feel like a human being. I feel like somebody like I feel like an artist. I feel like somebody that's like a credible performer, right? That I can look at a project and go, yeah, it's not for me. You know what I mean? Whereas 20 years ago, I would have sucked somebody's dick just to even get in the room, right? It's so. Let me ask you something. Do you? Because I feel it. Do you feel the change? I feel a change in the last 10 years in Hollywood, right? In terms of they're far more open, and I feel more, you know what I mean, a part of it.
Yeah, 100%. And
Good.
And you are a part of that. The fact that YouTube came around and podcasts came around put more power in the hands of creators. And so there weren't gatekeepers, the way that there were, 20 years ago. And I think there can be an overcorrection when it comes to that because there's always, the people who cry wolf and things like that.
Right,
That turns into
right.
like the crucible, but,
Yeah.
But yeah, the point is that like there is a like-mindedness that is taking over more of the population now. So we can say names and we can prosecute and we can write articles about them.
Yeah, I do feel that, man, and I'm so glad. I'm so glad that I was around enough, old enough, and also kind of still relevant enough to like at least get some of it. You know what I mean? Because if it would happen 30 years from now, you know what I mean, then I would have been fucked, right? So I was able to get some of it. You know what I mean? And it feels. I just feel so great. I feel grateful about it mainly. You know what I mean? I really do.
I love that.
I mean, I'm sure you do too, right? That a feeling of like finally, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, 100%. Like
Yeah.
when you see, like, even when I remember Joy Luck Club. When I saw that movie, I was bawling in the
Yeah.
theater, not just like tearing up, like ugly crying, because I'd never seen Asian Americans. They weren't even men. All the men were assholes in that movie. But,
Yeah.
just to see even, all of us presented up there, it was monumental. And then Crazy Rich Asians the
Yeah.
same way, and hearing and seeing your podcast the same way. All of these things are a groundswell.
Yeah. It's interesting because, I'm now, reoccurring on a bunch of shows and this and that. And I feel like, when I show up, before this is something that happened, I don't know what happened, but 20 years ago, I would show up on a set and I wouldn't talk to the producers, too scared. Didn't talk to the director, you know what I mean? And I don't know if it's the culture that changed or if I changed. But now when I'm on a show, I am so comfortable with developing friendships with the producers and the directors, and we have dinner and this and that. Before, I was so petrified of it all.
I think it's both.
Yeah, I
The-
totally agree.
You think
yeah,
so?
I think
Okay.
it's also not outside of you, just your own personal growth. I think the culture changing also changed you.
Right.
Like it sort of made you less, apprehensive. In
Well,
those
now they're asking
situations.
me now how I feel about it. So I'll be on set now, and a director or producer will go, so how do you feel about this line or this, the direction this, character is going? Whereas before, I wouldn't have an option. Do it like this. And then you're just like, like freaking the fuck out, Because instinctually you have ideas and things like, what about this, or what about that? But you would never fucking say it because you don't have the power.
Yeah. Take race and culture out of it. It's about power, right? Any young actor who's on set for the first time is not going to be like, I got a problem with this line right here.
Yeah.
You're just happy to be there, and you're just going to do whatever they say so that you stay there. You know? So there's something to be said for success, right? And experience. Now you've been on enough sets where you know that you can be yourself, and there's not that terrifying moment of like, holy shit, here comes the close up on me. What am I supposed to say?
Because your son, you went to your son's first acting thing, right?
Yeah.
And was he terrified?
He wasn't terrified, but when he was this was,
bug you?
This was funny. This was the funny part.
Yeah.
We were doing an interview about his experience, and during the interview, he was sweating bullets.
Oh, you got scared.
No, he was like answering the questions, but if it was radio, you'd be like, oh, this dude's pretty calm, cool, and collected. But if you when you see him, he's dripping in sweat because he's so nervous.
That's like me.
That's like her. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I can fake the funk in an audio. But if you see me, I am visibly dying, and it's beads of sweat and a sweat mustache under my eyebrows. It's really bad.
Wow.
Yeah, I did that once. I played Connie Chung. Remember when I played Connie Chung?
Oh, that's when you shit yourself.
And I shit myself because I was detoxing off of Vicodin because I was a drug addict. And then Fox was like, you got to quit doing drugs. So they wrote me this Connie Chung sketch. And I was day 2 or 3 of like detoxing, and I was just sick. And they put me in the makeup, and I remember being in front of a live audience and just knowing there's no way I'm going to be able to say these lines. I'm fucked.
Yeah.
And just once you think that you're defeated, the sweat and my knees shaking, and I was shitting. And I remember Dick Lasucci the executive producer, walking up to the set while in front of the audience, and he goes, all right, we're done. And they just grabbed me and put me in it was the most humiliating walk of my life. And I got sober the next day, baby.
Well, that's there you go.
Hey,
That's the way to get
baby.
sober, I guess.
Hey, baby.
Yeah, right?
I learned my lesson, baby.
I really like when shit goes down because in
Literally.
retrospect, your actual shit goes down because it's like it's all the things that go wrong are always like the big highlight. It makes for the highlight reel of our life. Like when things just go right or swimmingly or how they should without a hitch, you kind of just don't remember them. So when like really, obviously shitty things happen to you. Like they have such a big impact.
But I wouldn't change it for the world.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Because here you are. You are the sum of all of your choices up until now.
Yeah. But it makes it, I learned lessons from them. I've failed a lot in this business. I've fallen my ass. I've done so many weird things, and it's a lot of it's my fault. But it's like I wouldn't get it's like when I talk about my childhood. It's like I had a terrible childhood, and I tell people I wouldn't change any of it because it made me who I am today. Everything that led up to today, because I love my life today, I wouldn't change.
I have a question
ahead.
unrelated. If you had one day to inhabit Daniel's body and have his looks, what would you do?
What do you mean? What would I do? Am I still my personality?
I mean, you.
Do I look like him, or can I change some things?
It's a Freaky Friday.
Oh, Freaky
Freaky
Friday. I like
Friday.
that.
Because you've been in a lot of sexiest men alive lists,
Yes.
right?
Bobby's been in.
How many sexiest men alive have you been on?
3 or 4.
Now, same question to you.
Son
Go.
of a bitch.
How many?
No. Let me just ask him some questions about the
Okay.
sexiest man alive.
Really? I said that answer quickly, so we just move on.
I know.
Damn it.
No, what I'm asking is that the first time do they call you and go, you made the list? Or does it just come out in the stands and then you go, oh, I'm on the list?
No, they call. I was doing Lost at the time, and
Right.
so they called our publicist because I didn't have a publicist. Because even during Lost, they were like, "Well, I don't know what we would do with an Asian man. Like with that, there's no publicity for you, and that's a whole other thing."
Wow.
So, publicity was one of the hardest things about Lost for me. But they called the publicist for the show and said I was going to make the list, and they scheduled a photo shoot. So that's how it happened.
And then how did you feel though? Was it were you bashful about it or?
Honestly, I and this is going to sound really insincere, but it's the truth. I promise it's the truth. I was like, it didn't feel like that big a deal for me. But it did feel like a big deal because I don't remember seeing Asian men in that issue before.
Exactly.
So when I thought about that, I was like, yeah, this is a fucking big deal.
It's a big deal. A fucking big deal, dude.
But it wasn't like, oh, well, this is going to change my life, because it didn't. You know, I was still going home and taking out the garbage every night, you know. And,
yeah.
Literally, my mom saw the issue. My mom saw the issue. They were like, really? You?
Yes, you, dude. Yes, you, man.
So what are the chances you think in this lifetime that you're going to be on that list?
Never.
Because I think we should vote you in.
You can.
I think so. I think that.
Well, then if I'm on it, then who else will be on it?
Hey,
Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd is not like, The Rock. He's not,
No,
Brad
but he
Pitt.
is cute. He is very cute. And I'm just saying that I have mythological elements to my face.
That's why it's like
Mythological element.
Yeah. So if they did something like a Shire, like the Shire had, the sexiest Hobbit or whatever, I could probably
100 Shire.
Yeah.
What I mean, though, is the definition of beauty is changing.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's why Paul Rudd is a handsome, sexy man, and he is, but why couldn't it be someone like you?
It's not.
Jimmy O. Yang, you just had on the podcast a while ago, and he was in a romantic comedy, and I've never done a romantic comedy.
You haven't?
Wow.
Never. And so that tells you,
Yeah.
what people are looking for now and what people consider.
Did they
Sexy.
have? I didn't watch that movie. I haven't watched it yet. But did they have actual like kissing scenes and sex scenes with his co-star?
He was definitely
yeah,
romantic.
They
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, they were
Okay, I
very
love that because I just watched the Jonah Hill one.
With Eddie Murphy?
Yes, with Eddie Murphy.
You people.
And what I found like the most disappointing is that all I really wanted to see was him get down with
The girl.
The girl. Like just like they were in bed and then they just cut to the next day, right?
Yeah.
Well,
And
they
I'm
could
like,
have shot it and didn't work out well.
No.
In editing. This looks like shit. Let's cut it.
I don't know enough about that project, but I hear what you're saying. I saw that film, and it just reminds me of Romeo Must Die. You guys remember Romeo Must Die? Maybe you're too young.
Jet Li not kissing.
Jet
Yeah.
Li
Not
and
kissing
Aaliyah
Aaliyah.
never kissed.
Oh, man.
It's a Romeo
Bummer.
and Juliet
It's a bummer.
story.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was all about those things.
Friends.
Who's going to want to see an Asian man kiss a black woman?
Yeah.
That was the thinking.
I pitched a show with Bobby in mind as one of the characters and Dave Bautista as the other, and them being like gay lovers, because that's all I wanted to see. I was like, how great would it be to see a Dave Bautista and a Bobby Lee just full on like making out?
I would
terrified.
No, I don't look. No, I would love that.
Would you do a gay comedy like that?
Yes.
Would you have been in Fire Island?
Yes.
Right
Oh,
on.
you would.
I would literally come this close to penis. I'm not kidding you.
For the craft.
They'd be like, open your mouth and not completely in. And I would say, oh, is this good? But I would keep it. I would do this. I do it maybe kiss a tip or
Yeah.
something. Yeah. I'm willing to do anything.
Yeah.
You know me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. For a movie, because I could just go. It's a movie.
Except
it's art.
Except a ninja costume. That's ridiculous. Don't put a penis close to your mouth, but don't wear a ninja costume.
So when you got lost though, because I want to. So were you? So you obviously auditioned. How many times did you audition?
Twice.
Twice, and you tested. So you auditioned twice, and then the third was a test.
No, there were so few of us that it was one audition and a test.
Wow. So you tested, and then did they tell you right away that you got it?
There was a lot of drama around the decision because I had another project that my agent would not support me taking Lost for. So that's a whole other story. But they told me, and they told me, I guess, a week later. And instead of being happy, I was really torn about it because my agent had already drawn her line in the sand and said, you cannot do this job. And she literally said to me, if you do this job, I will no longer be your agent.
What
so
the heck?
I actually wrote J.J. Abrams myself. And I said, JJ, you don't know me. You just hired me. But I would love to do this show, but I have this other job. Do you think you could adjust your schedule for me? All the stuff an agent is supposed to do for you.
Wouldn't do it.
She did not lift a finger. But I'll tell you what.
What?
When I got lost, she took every commission check. These are all true stories.
Oh
you
my.
have a similar one, right?
So before I got Mad TV, no one would sign me as an agent. So I had my manager get me an audition for Mad TV because she represented one of the producers on the show, and they're like, he's not gonna get it, but we'll as a favor so he can learn to audition. Anyway, I get it. I get to the final, right? It's between me and Taran Killam. And I remember,
is it really?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't
me
know
and
that.
Taran.
Wow.
And Taran was 17 years old at the time.
Oh my.
And I remember being there, sitting in their lobby, about to go in. And I remember somebody called me, and he goes, "Hi," and I go, "Who is this?" He's like, "I'm your agent." And I go, "I don't have an agent." "Now you do. I negotiated your deal." And so then ever since then, they got 10% of everything.
So they only came after you got the job?
Yeah, I had to get the job before they would sign me.
Right. Well, speaking of Jimmy O Yang, I was watching the podcast. He was talking about his role in Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
Same kind of thing,
same
right?
thing, yeah.
This is a very common story among all of us, which is why I feel this brotherhood and sisterhood with people who are like us, because we have very common experiences. And by the way, shout out to J.J. Abrams. I never would have been on Lost had he not changed the shooting schedule for me
I
to
can't
fly
see
back from
anyone
Europe.
else that would do that, but you killed it on that show.
Oh, that's very
Fucking
nice.
killed it, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But there was a very real chance I never would have done that show.
But did you, because I'm curious, when you were shooting the pilot and whatnot, did you in your head go, this is going to be a hit?
No, I didn't, because it was so unlike anything I'd seen on TV. We were speaking Korean on television. You know what I mean?
I know.
Had you ever seen that before?
No, never.
And it was truly a multiracial cast in a way that wasn't just lip service, you know?
Yeah, it was real,
Yeah, and you're talking about, if you read the log line, you could be reading Gilligan's Island. Like, people get trapped on an island.
Yeah.
End of story. Where does it go from there? You would have no idea. It's really about the genius of those writers.
So you didn't know any about the supernatural elements in it? It was just basically an island crash in the first pilot, and then that's all you knew?
When we were shooting the pilot, there was this big scene where we're supposed to hear this roar coming from the jungle.
Yeah.
And we're at the plane, and we're supposed to look out there. JJ literally said, "Okay, you're going to hear something. You got to imagine you hear something super loud out there." And we're like, "What is it?" "Just listen. Just listen for it. Just listen for it. It's huge. It's massive. It's scary. Action."
And he played it?
No.
Oh, so you had to react to a noise. You're not even going to fucking know what it is?
I think there might have been and there's the noise kind of a thing.
Oh, wow. And you go, oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it was a surprise to you, too, as well, then.
Yeah, so, and none of us knew what was happening week to week. None of us knew who was going to die in the next episode. It was literally a day-by-day
Wow. Yeah, I mean, number one, that show made him, right, to who he is now. And that was like the first time where I saw a TV show, I was like, it's like a movie. You know what I mean? Like the first time where I watched a network show and I was like, no, this is something like, you know what I mean? The first addicted show that I ever saw where I was like, I'm going to watch, like, you know me, I don't watch anything.
Yeah.
But that fucking show, man, was so fucking good.
If that were on today, you'd be binging it from beginning to end. And so, you could make the point that it kind of ushered in the binging era. Because remember, people used to not watch our show because they wanted to wait for the DVD set to come out.
Right.
And they just wanted to watch it all together.
Wow. But toward the end, did you think it was getting a little silly, or?
It was tougher for me.
It was getting a little silly.
Because, when the island moved.
That's it. That's all you have to say. That's all you have to say.
Bit like,
yeah.
Okay.
When you read that, the island moves, what did you...
I read it twice. I had to read it twice.
Yeah.
What do they mean by this?
Yeah. What about the time travel?
Yeah. So
did that weird you out?
No, that didn't weird me out because
yeah.
Lost was one of the first shows to really use flashbacks as a storytelling mechanism.
Yeah.
And ever since then, you've seen it used over and over again, right? But the idea of flashbacks and then flash forwards, it seemed a natural extension of how they were telling the story. And I think even at that time there was a show that tried to copy Lost called Flash Forward or something like that on ABC.
Yeah.
So, but success, you can measure success by the number of people who want to imitate it, right? And there were so many Lost copycats at that time.
Oh, yeah.
So, I just was along for the ride. Whatever the writers wanted to do, I was game because they created the show and I had a lot of faith in them. you know? So even the ending, people were, busting on the ending and stuff. But I knew my personal feelings were, you're never going to satisfy everybody, like we were talking about before. So I just cared about the characters. I wanted to know that the characters were in a good place.
Yeah.
And I felt like the ending took care of that.
People ripped on the Game of Thrones ending. I liked it.
It's hard to end
It's so
shows.
hard. Think about it.
It's so hard to end a multi-chapter book. You know?
Yeah.
And most of the time, the writers aren't even prepared to end it properly. So, sometimes shows don't get endings; they just get canceled. So,
Yeah, I've been on those.
yeah, right?
That's how my shows end.
Yeah.
It's hard to please everyone.
Do you watch a lot of K-dramas?
I don't know what a lot means, but I watch my share. My fair share. I think Korean dramas have been doing some things really in a very different way from American dramas for a long time, and it's great to see the influences of K-drama now on American drama, and especially movie making.
And I feel like Netflix is really catching on to the fact that just on a viewership level, everyone's obsessed with K-dramas.
Because I've never seen one.
You've never seen one.
Yeah, I've never seen one. So I want to. You just sold me.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm a layman. Okay. Now I saw Kingdom. Is that the one with the zombies?
Yes.
Love that show.
That's a K-drama.
Yeah.
That's a K-drama?
But
oh, yeah, but it's got
that's like a
supernatural.
new style K-drama.
Right. Yeah. But I loved it. I thought it was amazing. What else have I seen?
That's it.
Squid Games, but that's not a K-drama.
That's not.
Does that
Okay.
count?
It is. That's a
Yeah.
it's
Still a
considered.
dra- yeah.
But the classic K-drama is the love story. Like
Yeah.
the boy meets girl.
And that's why
yeah.
I don't have the love.
Extraordinary Attorney Woo.
All right, so give me the top 3 that I must watch, and I will watch it.
Okay.
So give me the top 3.
Wow, that's a hard question. I will give you the 3 that come to mind. I don't know if they're the best
No,
three.
Daniel, check it out, okay? Give me the ones where you think I'm gonna like it.
Check out Itaewon Class.
I love
Itaewon
Itaewon.
Class.
Write it down. Itaewon Class. Is it about classes?
It is. It's a
School?
revenge story.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, you'll love that.
Okay, so that's the one I'm gonna definitely watch it.
It's like Count of Monte Cristo.
Oh, I love the Count of Monte Cristo.
Yeah, so-
you know what I love
And
about
it's a great underdog
yeah.
vibe.
Is this true? In this, I'm going to get that other two, but in the Monte Cristo, the guy goes to prison, right? And he leaves prison and he reinvents himself, right? But is there a love interest that went with somebody else's enemy or something? Is that in the Count of Monte Cristo?
I don't remember that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the second one, what's the second one? So Itaewon Class?
I think the mother of all romantic K-dramas is a really old one, but there's one called Winter Sonata. And I think it's even going to be hard to find, but it...
You get deep cuts
I know,
already?
these are
I mean, the
deep
second...
cuts,
Yeah.
sorry.
But wait, Winter Sonata, I'm going to like it?
I don't know. See, I don't know if that's your jam, but if you want to know,
No, listen. Okay, sorry talking like that, but I've seen every Kurosawa movie. I've seen every Sergio Leone movie. I mean, I love Dr. Zhivago, these long sweeping romantic.
I have a long sleeping romance.
So I can.
Khalyla.
So Winter Soldier.
Winter Sonata.
Oh,
Winter
that's Winter Soldier. I like that one.
That's Marvel.
Oh, that's good though. Is that a romance? I like that.
That was the first drama that I saw, and this was in my I don't want to say 20s, and I was like, what is this? I don't know what this is, but I want to watch all of it right now.
Oh, really?
And I stayed up
And you cried?
damn straight. I cried multiple times. Multiple times. Yeah.
Winter Soldier. Third one. What is it?
Winter Sonata.
Winter
Khalyla,
Sonata.
what's yours?
I've tried to pitch it to him.
Landing for
multiple
You?
times.
Crash
no,
Landing?
Crash Landing.
That one, yeah.
My wife loves Crash Landing.
Do you like Crash
I
Landings?
did not see that one. I have to admit,
Okay.
Yeah.
because there was a little. No,
It's heavy on the romance, though. Super
is.
heavy on the romance.
there's another one that.
Wait, you were going to say something that you could just cut out, right? And we can cut that out for real life, right, if you want. But I need to know what you were cutting out.
There's certain things that we all watch, and there are certain lines that we have where we say, "Well, I just wouldn't believe that," right? About certain things.
Oh, I see. So let me guess, right? She crashes her plane on the other side of the DMZ line.
Well,
She
'cause-
falls in love with a North Korean soldier.
He's heard it.
go to
and seen it.
Wikipedia.
Right? No, and that does, and you don't believe that.
I'm a little bit like, could that really happen?
It could never happen.
It was just a gust of wind that kind of took her over the
Yeah.
line.
Have you've never been there, North Korea, have you?
I actually did step foot in North Korea because I was at the DMZ, and so technically there's that area that is you're in North Korea.
And is it a special pass you have to get in, or like a fast pass, like at Disneyland or something?
It's,
Universal
you don't just say, hey, let's go to North Korea today.
Yeah.
No, it is a heavily fortified area. Wow. You need to get through lots of guards, and you need to have arranged this with either the government or some special tour group, but you can go.
But what I'm saying is that this is what I want to ask you, right? Is there any world that Daniel Dae Kim and Bobby Lee gets to go and just go to North Korea and visit the sites?
I think you're a liability.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm a liability?
Yeah.
Why? Why me?
You're just general behavior.
I'm not going to spit on a statue.
You're a little wild.
Yeah.
I would be. I wouldn't go with you. Like I would go with someone.
Although I did do this in Thailand, when
You see?
So in Thailand, they say, don't make fun of the king, right?
Oh, that's a big deal.
Right. So
big deal.
I saw the very first Avengers. I was by myself. I was doing a movie out there, and so during a movie, they do a 10-minute, montage of the king. So everyone has to stand, right? And I didn't stand. Is that bad?
Well, in Thailand it is.
It's bad.
I know, but I didn't stand. I refused to stand. And then at the park, you're supposed to stand still during the music, and I stood in a really weird way. But anyway, you're right. I asked you in North Korea. Yeah, I'm not going. Yeah. So what's the third movie?
One, going back to the love theme, My Love from the Stars was a really popular one. And that was maybe, I want to say like 10 years ago, but that broke a lot of records at the time as well. And it's about My Love from the Stars.
Is it aliens?
It literally is an alien who comes down to Earth. So you've got to suspend a lot of disbelief.
I don't
here.
care. I get suspended.
But the alien is Korean, man. Everyone's Korean. So.
Maybe that was the audition.
Maybe the audition from fucking that commercial was that, man.
That was what it was for.
It was for that. Yeah.
But that's one thing that I really think that, growing up in America, we lost out on. Like, when people were doing Hong Kong movies in the 80s, you had people kicking ass. Jet Li, Jackie Chan, Chow Yun-fat. But we were watching, in terms of images of ourselves, was the exact opposite.
Well, when I met him, he had never watched a single Wong Kar-wai movie, like ever.
Okay.
But now HBO has all of them. They have Chungking Express. They have In the Mood for Love, Fallen Angels, like all of it. I just think you should.
He's a
start.
fucking genius, Wong Kar-wai.
Yeah.
Like, and some of the best movies of this era, if not all time, are from him.
Really?
And so there's great cinema everywhere. I can't wait to see where else we're going to find amazing movie making and TV content. Because America does not have a stranglehold on all of it, and that's one of the best things about Netflix and the international globalization of entertainment.
Yeah, it's we got fucked, man. Growing up, there was nothing that I could watch and relate to. The only thing was martial arts shit, really. You know what I mean?
Especially it was Bruce Lee. Right?
It was Bruce Lee,
Jackie
especially
Chan.
the access that I had. You have Blockbuster. That's the only reason why I would, because they would have a Criterion collection. So I would always go watch, a Kurosawa movie, like Seven Samurai, whatever it might be, so I could have that feeling of some sort of relation. You know what I mean? But growing up, that's why in high school I never was asked to Sadie Hawkins dance. You know what I mean? And then when I remember there was this one girl asked for prom, and when I asked her, will you go to prom with me? She cried, but in a real sad way. You know what I mean?
This is the best I could get.
It was like one of those. She had a single tear. You know what I mean? She's like, all right. You know what I mean? And I remember and she left when we went to prom. She took off.
Wait, what was your prom night like?
I went with a friend. And
Best way to do it.
And she was a senior when I was a junior.
Oh,
and,
there it is.
But there was nothing romantic about it. But that was okay because of a lot of the things that you were talking about.
Yeah.
And there's always drama around prom. Take race out of it. Who you're gonna ask and who's gonna ask you to prom is a big deal.
Yeah,
So, for me, it was just easier to say, hey, we can have a great time. And,
you had that confidence.
I had
we were friends.
Yeah.
a no policy. I told myself, because by the time I was a junior, I was like, I'm not going to say no to any boy. So the first person who asked, I said yes to. I'm like, yeah, of course, sure, I'll go.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah.
That's cool if
And
you
he was
like
a
that.
very
She's a good girl, though. Yeah.
he was a very shy boy. I know it took a lot out of him to ask me, but I was like, I'll go.
It's hard for girls too, because you have to be asked. I don't know if it's that way as much anymore, but you're not doing the asking. So
Right.
you're like, well, do I hold out for something better? Or do I say yes?
That's true.
Yeah,
That is true.
Am I going to get asked at all? These are real questions, I'm sure. Did you
Yeah.
feel any of that?
No.
Wow.
Because I think that I love the idea of just going alone or going with like just meeting friends there. I never, but that's because I didn't grow up with the idea of prom because I grew up in a different country.
Got it.
So it wasn't like a big thing in my mind of like, oh my God, it's prom night. I didn't know
Yeah.
what the fuck prom night meant.
Yeah, where I grew up in Pennsylvania, right here, there's it was a football town, and prom was everything.
Wait, so you grew up in Pennsylvania? Was there? Because I grew up in San Diego, so I was just wondering the degree of racism that you encountered. Was it like blatant, where like people would like do this in front of you? I mean, what was?
Wow,
Yeah, that was commonplace for me.
Really?
Yeah, commonplace.
Yeah.
But like I had an alternative kind of a journey, because there were two towns I lived in. One was called Easton, and when I lived there, everyone was becoming friends, and they were young enough not to be thinking about what color or what your eyes look like. Everyone was just like, let's go ride bikes, let's go skateboard.
Cool.
And that town had, people of every race and every religion, and we were all friends.
Oh.
And then I moved in 6th grade. And when I moved, I became the other. No one knew who I was.
Wow.
And I was just this Oriental kid who was moving into this new school in the middle of the fucking school year. And
Wow.
so everything changed for me then. Then it was like, hey, chink, I'm sitting there. And then like, I was always an athletic kid, always getting picked last. Always getting picked last.
Wow. Even in ping pong? I'll pick you first.
Daniel first. Daniel first. Big
Yeah.
dog.
Yeah.
And so I think that shaped a lot of my personality. Like I always wanted to prove to everybody else that, I could compete on every level for everything, And so, so that was my upbringing. And so when I moved to Bethlehem, I found my tight circle of friends, but it was a long time before I felt like I was even equal to anybody.
Wow.
And that's when you're taught, I think like your self-image is taught in those years. It was puberty, right?
Yeah.
Hormones are starting to rage, and you're being told you're ugly. You're
Wow.
being actively told you're ugly. That shapes a lot of how you feel about yourself.
Yeah. But you know what? Look at you now.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We're the sum of all of our choices, of all of our experiences.
We survived.
Yeah. It didn't kill us, so it made us stronger.
Where were the winners?
Right?
we did it, huh? We fucking did it.
But here's the other thing.
Yeah.
We're not entitled.
Me neither.
And that's the thing. That's
What are you talking about?
All of those things are what keeps
A little
us.
bit. I'm entitled a little
He's
bit.
a little bit.
Wait, let's talk about that. How are you
Get into it.
entitled?
Get
In
into
what
it.
I
ways?
also just want to, again,
Well, what's that beeping?
I know,
Someone's
someone's
phone
phone
keeps
is going
ringing.
nuts.
mine.
That was Bobby's.
It's not mine. Mine's never on.
Mine's off.
I'm on
It's
do
driving me
not-
crazy.
I'm on do not disturb.
I have no idea, but it's not mine.
It's not
Mine's
mine.
right here.
All right. Well, let's just hopefully it doesn't.
There's a
So
rogue phone.
I want to talk. Well, what are we at time?
Oh, we're like hour 20.
Oh God, what the fuck? You didn't do a thing.
Well, let's keep going.
Well, no, I'm gonna keep going. I'm not done, but I'm just saying.
I have a
What's that?
nothing. It's just what I do to stim.
Well, that's okay, George. We'll just finish it. George, come back. So, what do you mean entitlement? What are you saying?
And
How are you entitled?
I'll tell you how. Well, because I'm not saying it from strictly an actor, right? I'm saying it more as a comedian, right? I feel like my path was so much harder than other people's, and I feel like, let's just say this: when I go to a comedy club in LA and I see my photo framed on the wall and this and that, I feel like I earned that. You know what I mean? And I feel like that there are just certain privileges that I get that I earned.
I think in
Well-
therapy, I think your therapist called it destructive entitlement. And I think that the way she explained it, it's a result of always being chosen last. So by the time you get to a place where you wanted to be, you have this fear of losing it. So you kind of feel like,
I didn't
no,
say it was healthy.
well, no, like it's a kind of,
Bad.
I'm not saying it's. I think
I have it.
it makes sense. Like it's totally understandable why you feel like no, I need to get what I want. Because
It doesn't come out unless like one time I was like headlining a club. I sold out the shows. I'd already done a couple of shows. I went to the hotel, came back, and when I was walking to this comedy club with my name on it and my name's on the thing, the doorman comes up to me and goes, we're sold out. Get out. Right, and I go, what do you mean? He's like, we're sold out. What the fuck, man? Do you have a ticket? and he didn't even bother to memorize who was there. You know what I mean? I'm there all week, and that's when it comes out.
And what did you do?
I left.
And he just left.
Didn't do the shows.
Didn't do the shows.
I don't know that that's unhealthy, though. I mean, you
I did
work
the
there.
shows, but I came back. They begged me to come back, and I
Yeah.
go, "Well, you're gonna have to yell at that guy because that was insane. That was fucking
It
insane."
could have been a teachable moment for that guy, you know.
Fired.
There-
That's the teacher. That's the lesson. Fired.
There are so many ways to
Well,
approach a situation like that.
What
right?
would you have done?
Or
What would you have done,
I
Daniel?
don't know. I don't
But
know.
this
that's what
way.
I'm saying.
I want this way.
How hard was it to be like, oh, you must have not checked the fucking marquee. That's me, dude.
It's not good enough.
You wanted revenge.
Yeah, baby. Yes.
Now here's
that's unhealthy though. I feel bad about
Here's
it.
path A. Go ahead.
Give me the
No, I don't know what the right way is, honestly, because there's the variables about who that person is too. You know, like what are they going to react to? What are they going to respond to in a positive way or feel threatened by? You know, so, you know, I've been in those situations as well where people thought that I, you know, wasn't part of the talent or cast or, you know, part of the team. And so it depends on the day. Depends on what mood you're in that
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
What the circumstances. Is it pouring rain outside? You know,
He caught me in a
many
bad
things. Exactly.
situation.
We're all
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
all human. Is my
Okay.
point. You know, and
But
so,
but when that happens to you, right? It doesn't feel good.
no, it definitely that's true.
That's a true
fact,
thing,
yeah.
right? And it just depends how.
Have a pineapple.
Yeah,
Look
have a
at this.
pineapple. You know, it doesn't feel good, and I've had that too, where I've like shown up on a show, and I'm a principal, and they go, "Oh, the extras stable is over there," and I always go there.
That's happened to me several times.
Yeah. And if but you probably go, "No, I'm a principal, right?" I don't do that. I go to the extras stable.
And you become an extra in the show.
No, I sit there until I did that once, where I sat there until I got calls going, "Where are you?" I go, "Well, that lady sent me here, so I'm just sitting here." When I could have just said, "I'm a principal."
And you're proving a point. You're just taking a longer path. To prove that point.
I like
It's a
I
very
like
long
it.
path.
I like that path. It's a good one. Yeah. So you've had that happen.
Oh yeah, I have, for sure. Yeah.
And it does, what do you do? How do you respond to it?
You know, there have been times where I've just said, "I'm sorry, I'm actually one of the actors," and that
What's
time,
the healthier? Yeah.
and they responded like in such a way that made me feel good about handling it that way because they were so apologetic, and they were like, "I can't believe I made that mistake. I am so sorry." You know, I really wish that hadn't happened. You know, give me your name. I will make sure it never happens again. So.
Daniel Dae Kim star. What? I mean, come on, man.
But then there have been other times.
What?
There have been other times where I made sure to put a little point on it, you know, and because I was having a bad day, or
Yeah.
I was, you know, late, or something like that, and so, you know,
I'm sorry. Can I just say something right now, man? I'm sorry. Here's the deal, okay, guy, my friend. I mean, all right,
Guy?
Is if I'm producing a TV show, right, and I get you on my show, and if anybody puts you in they're fired. You're Daniel Dae Kim. Fuck that, man.
Well, thank you.
Fuck that shit. No, fuck that shit, man.
thank you, Bobby Lee.
No, I'm being real. You're a star, dude. What the fuck are you talking about?
But this is the thing, like, this is a perception of people that is not often reality, right? Like, people look at you, I'm sure, and say, like, you've got so much shit going on. Look how successful you are. Look how many people watch your podcast. But you know what it's like to wake up in the morning and, you know,
I know.
You know, like, have to make breakfast and, like, take care of your phone calls and all that stuff. It doesn't feel that way ever, and nor should it. That's the point.
I feel like everyone else does.
But that's the point,
That's the
right?
point,
and,
right?
And that's the thing about privilege.
Oh,
and
you're right.
entitlement.
Okay, you're right. You're right. You know, one time, after The Walking Dead, remember Stephen Yeun? Mm-hmm. So I had this 2 lines in a movie audition, right? And you know, at that time, Stephen Yeun was like, to me, the future. Mm-hmm. You know, I loved him on that show.
He's amazing.
He's a great actor, nice guy. You know, and I was beginning to have a friendship with him. And I was sitting there, and he sat next to me at this audition for this 2 lines after Walking Dead.
Yeah.
And I'd never been so angry in my life. I pulled him aside, remember? And I just
you talked to him.
said, no, dude, your agents you're a fucking star, dude.
Yeah.
This is insane. Right? For me, at that time, I needed this.
But that's the point.
Yeah.
That's the point. Like, people don't know the day-to-day challenges that we face,
I
and
know.
especially as Asian actors, like, you're never guaranteed a role, and you're never guaranteed a job. So, you know, I think it's helpful and healthy to just think of ourselves as working actors and never as a star.
You're right. You're absolutely right. And I want to be honest with you, and I'm going to end with this. Is I've been a lot happier in my life when I didn't. This is no longer my number one priority. Sobriety is my number one priority. I'm really hitting that hard. There's other elements that are far more important to me. And as soon as I did that this last year, I've just been so much happier. I'm blessed. You know what I mean? That I get to have a guy like this on my show, to have you guys in my life, and we get to do this. I really am. I'm so blessed. I'm so lucky. Okay? And, I learned a lot from you, man. I'm going to do things differently, man. I'm going to speak my mind, man. You know what I mean? I'm going to, you know what I mean? Stop Asian hate, man.
Yeah. Don't yell at doorman.
Don't look, and don't, you know what I mean? Don't get people fired for, because I'm having a bad day. You know what I mean? But anyway, I have one more question for you, because I've been thinking about it. So
Never got to the Freaky Friday stuff.
Forget the Freaky Friday. After Lost, was there a dip, or did you just continue to work after that? Because I remember after Mad TV, there was a little bit of a dip where I had to wait a couple of years. Did you feel that or no?
Well, no, because I made a specific choice at that time. Hawaii Five-0 was casting right as Lost was ending. And so at the time where I talked to my agent about it, all my castmates from Lost were thinking, oh, I'm going to go do movies, or I'm going to go take time off, I'm going to go do this. But to your earlier point, my career stopped being my first priority once I had a family. And once I had a family, I knew that Hawaii Five-0 should be my priority for my career because it meant stability for my family. And so it was a very easy decision at the time. And so it was very seamless. Like, in fact, I was shooting my death scene on Lost when I was shooting the pilot of Hawaii Five-0 at the same time.
Wow.
So I went from one right into the other.
Amazing.
But it was never, I didn't have a lot of angst about that decision. People were telling me like, oh, you're going back into TV? Why would you do that? Are you the lead of the show? You're not even the lead of the show? But I took what I could get because it was another show that shot in Hawaii.
Yeah.
To have 2 shows shoot back-to-back in Hawaii.
It's insane.
How rare is that going to be? So I recognized that and I said, well, I'm going to hop on this train because it means both my kids grow up in Hawaii.
Wow. Well, me and Theo Von sold a show to Fox, and it's set in Hawaii. So, in a couple of years, if it gets picked up and stuff, you better not say no to the offer I'm going to send.
Hey, man,
I'll tell you that, right?
I would love to work with you
To play
sometime.
villain or something.
We should
on the
do
show
that.
or whatever.
Have you guys
but-
never worked together?
No, we've never worked together.
Well, this is work.
You're working longer in Hawaii than I am. You're more recently, I should say.
Yeah, it's been great.
How many episodes you done now?
14 or something.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I just flew in from New York. I did Sex in the City too.
Okay, man.
And then I'm also on Reservation Dogs on FX. So that's
Right on, man.
Shows and stuff.
Right on. Have a pineapple for that.
Well, really quick question.
Go ahead.
'Cause it kind of goes with Khalyla's Freaky Friday. Everyone here is just asking like about you guys working together. Like, will they ever make a Korean version of Twins? Will they ever make a remake of Face Off? So I like this question from Young One Zeke. He said, if you two were in a buddy cop movie, what would it be about, and who would you guys play? Let's brainstorm.
I've always wanted to be an undeveloped Siamese twin to somebody.
Well, there you go.
Right? So, like, I'm underdeveloped. So, they'll put green screen on your stomach, but, like, half my head and my arms come out like this, right?
Okay.
You know what I mean? And you have, like, a turban or something, right? Or people think you're a fat guy because you wear a fat suit, but you're really hiding my head.
But you're also a buddy cop. You're also cops.
Yeah, maybe, like, how about this?
Oh
Maybe
wait, he's
one's
the
a cop.
brains of the operation.
Exactly.
You're the brawn.
Yeah.
Right.
Or the face of it versus the brains of it, or how would that work? Or what if one is the cop and one is the criminal?
What about this? What if I'm the cop?
He's the criminal.
Yeah, you're the criminal.
Right.
Right? You're under arrest!
It's a 1-act play in one room. End of movie.
End of movie. Yeah. It's a 5-minute movie, but it's
Wait,
a short. Yeah.
Are you parasitic? So basically, you would only be nourished if you ate. So basically, he would attempt to starve you out.
That's true.
Yeah.
Maybe not a cop movie.
Yeah.
Would that be a movie?
I like an alien type of movie with both of you. Like, I don't know if you're brothers or something, but you're stopping
Sore
an alien,
subject,
an
Gilbert.
an alien invasion. I don't know. I like that.
Oh, how about this? I got one more serious, right?
Okay.
We were both aliens, right? but he left our planet, right? Because of oppression, or he doesn't like it. And maybe you fell in love with the Earthling, right? And I'm like 20 years later, I'm like, I'm gonna find my brother, right? So I had to come back to Earth to find you, because mom and dad are dying.
That's a sequel to My Love from the Stars.
Yeah, part
There you
2.
go.
I'm gonna watch
Part
that.
2.
Very
Okay.
good. I love From the Stars part 2,
Yeah.
right? All right. So what's another question?
That's it.
That's it?
Everyone just really interested in like how do they not work together? That's like
We will.
15
Life
questions.
is like very magical in that way.
Yeah.
So Daniel, is there anything you want to promote right now?
No, I didn't come out here to promote anything. I just came out to talk to you guys.
I know, but there's some people, how about Good Doctor still on?
Good Doctor still on.
Watch it on what's ABC?
ABC.
Good Doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coming out in an animated series called Mech Cadet U, based on a Boom comic. And that's on Netflix. And then
Wow.
live action Avatar, The Last Airbender, comes out.
No, wait.
with Dallas Liu.
Yeah, with Dallas, yeah.
Wait, they did a live action Airbender? Like, you thought that Shyamalan was going to end that thing.
Yeah, no, it's
It's the legit one now.
they did it again.
They did it again, but with more Asians in it?
All Asian.
How was your audition?
Never got one.
Oh, okay.
What,
If you'd only spoken up about Asian hate.
That's what it is. That's right. Yeah. Wow, I never got one. So you're in that?
I am. I play the Darth Vader character in that series.
Oh my God. So you shot a season already?
Yeah.
And when does that come out?
We don't know yet, but they're working on the VFX right now.
Oh my God, that's exciting.
Yeah.
I love that. You know who turned me on to that was Jordan Peele.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when the animation was like, you got to check that out. And I saw the whole thing. I loved it.
Do you
And
know
the
Fire Lord Ozai?
yeah, that's you?
That's me.
You're the Fire Lord.
The fire fucking Lord, dude. Oh my God, dude. That's insane.
But we got to have you on season 2 for sure.
They're never going to do it, man.
Are you kidding me? There's a lot of comedy in this.
They're not going to have it.
Why? I'm
Because
telling
they
you.
asked me the first time, man.
I'm telling you right now.
I don't wanna be part 2
I'm telling you
now.
right now. I'm happy to put in a word.
Yeah, put in a word.
Yeah.
Put in a word. Yeah, put in a word.
Please put it in a word.
Yeah, but don't either. You know what I mean? Whatever.
I will definitely put in a word.
Yeah. Anyway, don't promote anything. I was going to upset me now.
So you're very open about this too. About, like in a lot of your podcasts, you talk about jealousy and envy, and
Yeah, I do.
But I like that. I think it's healthy that you talk about it.
But I tell people that I know I'm doing well. I am. I know I'm doing well, but I also like it. This platform gives me a chance to kind of be myself and say things that how I feel about things, and people relate to it. You know what I mean? I'm not a shiny thing. I'm damaged.
That's what's great about the podcast.
Yeah.
You're human.
I'm human.
And for so often, like when people do PR tours, there's nothing human about those. It's like 30-second sound bites that are given to you by a
Right.
publicist. So this is much deeper than that.
Well, thank you so much for doing it. I really do. You're just one of those guys that I've really looked up to, and I'm just so blessed that you did it. And thank you so much.
I'm super happy.
Give him a
to
round
be
of
here.
applause.
Thanks, guys.
Daniel Dae Kim.
Shuku luki muki